Welcome back, fellow armchair journalists. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8 and Third Reich events installed. Okay, get that out of the way. Let's continue. Someday I may make up one of those really cool sort of front-end things that, you know, has a logo and whatnot, but we're not there yet. Nope. Keep that rolling. Oh, well, whatever. Mobile unit combined arms, okay. Professionalism is a good thing, not a bad thing, but I don't know how important it is to you as the viewer. Uh-oh. No, somewhere we already have a lot of forces just still stuck there. Oh well. Check out one of my little flotillas. And yeah, you can stop patrolling and go on to base. What are we doing up in Halifax? Are these generals getting good here? Insurance. All these abortive attacks. Yeah. Good training. Wow. Skill level 5, skill level 4. Ah, he's hardly improved at all. They have stiff resistance, but we'll get them. Yeah. You're gobbling up parts of Mexico, I understand. Okay, we've lost the December effects. Fine. And let's see now. Well, we'll continue with the extra spies. Annual national focus. Now. Don't think we need better economics at the moment. Don't know that we need better science. We're doing lots of good research. Health and education. Money. We don't need more money. We got plenty of money. Resources. Well, metal and energy are, super good, and even those are good enough, so we don't need those. Yeah, I'm sort of going through process of elimination here. Z plan. Well, this would get us more naval construction, but I think we're doing okay. We're not planning on defeating the enemy through naval power. So far, our avoidance strategy has worked out. Luftwaffe. Manpower just isn't that good of a bonus. Two Panzer. Manpower is a good enough bonus. Would help with Panzer build speed. But since we have, what, 25 plus, we're going to go Octung Panzer instead of Die Wehrmacht. Die Wehrmacht is very good. We'll examine your armaments factories. You get more armaments factories. And you got 20%. These other guys just down at 5% are just pretty bad. 10% with examine our tank factories. As I said before, this boost is nice, but it's just for a year. Where this, all these tank factories will help out, but they'll still be there next year when we can go armaments factories, or if we do decide, I really don't think we're going to be doing too much in 46. I hope by the end of 45 we will have this thing so wrapped up, all have moved on. But just look at it this way: is I forget what we did. It was either Panzer or Die Wehrmacht, I believe. You get to keep the factories expansion, the tank factories here or others, so it's an accumulative effect, which is better. So I think that's better. Okay. All right, economic boost. Since we no longer have any long-term projects that we want to do, meaning these things, and I'm doing this as a bit of a tutorial. I know most of you already know this. Some of you know it better than I do. Things like Railroad Tycoon and National Highways and whatnot. Since we've already got all of those, but not everyone. And, this series is going to be up there for years to come, and there's going to be people that still even, play older versions, so they may want to learn about this. So that's why I'm doing this, and you haven't necessarily watched every episode. Since we don't have that as a goal anymore, the short-term effects are better. So 10% bonus in ICs for the year. Okay, now do we have an HQ? St. John's, that's a little further away than I want. Well, I don't know. Panzer there is in good enough shape to start advancing some more. Stuff and that keep us from doing. And they're good enough to join the fray. Yeah, Matamoros is turning into another Bhutan. Uh-oh. They cleaned our clock out here. The Jaeger Division Eiffel is shattered. Okay, well, yeah, this is one of the reasons why I want to attach everything to an HQ somewhere. I don't think it's to the chain, so that way, oh, where is my... Here. Wasn't it? I thought it was. Well, maybe it wasn't attached anywhere. Thought it was. Okay, well, maybe we've lost that division. Maybe it was one that wasn't attached somewhere. Because if they're shattered, well, maybe they went to the capital anyways? I'm looking for a shattered division here. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, we enforced conquered on the one province country of El Salvador. We'll keep moving, and they're going to support the attack. Okay, the 37th Freewheeling Cavalry Division, or SS Freewheeling Cavalry Division, Lutzow, was formed February 45. February, what, April, the thing's over with, from remnants of Florian Geyer and Maria Theresa on the Hungarian-Slovak border. So basically just a comp group here. Yeah. Good, we want it. But it's just another one of these Hitler dream things. And when they talk about remnants, and I don't know, and so I'm just speculating here. When they say remnants of Florian Geyer and Maria Theresa, there may be combat elements that had been battalions that are now company or platoon size and strength, but too many smaller units combined into whatever and then created into this. But it also means things like your garrison troops and your training troops that are back at your training bases, that they're just now put together and formed up into another cavalry division to go in and fight. So which is a act of supreme desperation, because these are the troops that you're supposed to train additional recruits and supply ongoing forces. So once you're doing this stuff, you've lost. You've more than lost, because you have no way to continue the fight. Even if your wonder weapons start coming out somewhere, you have no way to continue to support anything. So yeah, we'll take that. I think we already have one of these, so I'm going to say save our money. No. Okay, let's... Oh, it's good to have the event for the historical information, and since we are doing well, and I don't believe that, or I wouldn't have clicked it if it was apparent that they were going to remove serious elements. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. I mean, the reason I say I like this is because this represents what they were describing as a there are no transport elements, there's no anti-tank elements, no artillery elements. It's just sort of scraped together cavalry types, and well, we may reinforce that into a more meaningful division. We'll send it this way, because that could be useful again if we form it up with something more. We could, or of course, if you're playing and you're wanting to deal with more of these guys, you want some smaller, cheaper anti-partisan forces. They would be good to do that with them too. Okay, USA. They have decided USA War Machine triumphs. At a macroeconomic scale, the war not only decisively ended the Great Depression, but created conditions for productive post-war. Okay, yes, all very true. Unfortunately, now we've squandered it, but it was true, and that, though I don't know how they're really... I don't know what the game effects of that is. USA lost the USS New Mexico. Wonder where that happened. Okay. 23 SS Free-Willing Panzer Grenadier Division, Nederland. Okay, and this is another one of these comprising Dutch volunteers saw activity on the Eastern Front in February 45, part of the division. The 4th SS Volunteer Panzer Grenadier Brigade was to be merged with the 11th SS Panzer Nordland, but after protest of the Dutch National Socialist Movement, National Socialist Beweging, NSB, I just know them as that, say, zone SS. Okay, yeah, fine. But again, like I was saying, part of it is scraping the barrel, bottom of the barrel. No, the number was given 23 to the... because it was disbanded earlier on. So, like I was telling you earlier about the Comma division as being really bad, there were several divisions like this that the numbers got reused. But like I was saying, this is, you remember, I think most all of us have seen all or some of Downfall, the movie about Hitler in the last days, and he's yelling, "Steiner, where are my divisions?" Well, they kept forming these divisions, and not just in the Waffen-SS, but in regular army, like all those Marine. Oh, they still haven't. Still haven't gotten their better motorized unit yet. Like all those Marine headquarters, those were just really naval infantry in the sense of taking shore personnel, ship personnel, and others that are in the Navy, and hey, here's a rifle, go shoot somebody, kind of things. That's what they were, much more than any sort of real amphibious warfare specialist types. Not saying that the German Navy didn't have anything on that type, but they had very, very little. So I mean, and no divisional size, really, like Marine type units. But they did form these naval infantry units as, you know, emergency kind of things. So on paper, they were creating all these Kampfgruppe and divisions, which often just were Kampfgruppe, and we're putting them on the order of battle and sending up to the hierarchies. And so Hitler is, of course, delusional at this point. By January, he's delusional. I hope nobody here likes him. And of course, you can look at somebody that, oh, I don't know, like Stalin or Mao, and say, yes, they were successful, evil dictators. Not that they did any good for their country, successful, but they achieved their goal of ruling their country and still hate them. So people can evaluate Hitler in that aspect. I think Hitler made a great many mistakes. I think this series sort of shows how it could have gone. And obviously this is a wacky war game with an AI that, you know, is... We can get a box of rocks and compare the intelligence levels. Not sure which would come out ahead. But, so there's all that. But I think generally overall I showed strategies how you could have done the war very different and won it. That would have been different than Hitler obviously chose to do. So even if you think that he's an evil genius, if you will, or whatever, by this point, Hitler is delusional. Okay, he has lost touch with reality. He's all kinds of crazy in other ways before this, but he is delusional. So he's keep getting all these reports, and this division here, these divisions are rolling out here. He well before this point, for sure by 44, but maybe even more than 43, he was more interested in more divisions, more divisions, more divisions. So all the new recruits were going to and new equipment were going to the new divisions, and the older divisions that were well experienced, good leaders, everything's great about them, except for they've had a lot of attritional losses. Now, part of that, I think, is the sort of believing that the National Socialist philosophy is sunk into the Hitler youth, the youth that are coming up, and they did devoutly believe in Hitler and what Hitler's saying. So you wanted to create the true Bushido spirit type warriors that were going to fight and be victorious, and not these older guys that grew up before Hitler and enough without being indoctrinated into National Socialism from a very young age. And so these new divisions were going to somehow fight better than the old divisions. I think there was some of that kind of thinking. But I think it was, and those divisions aren't infected with defeatism, the new ones. But I think it was even more a situation of, instead of having 10 divisions on the map, you have 20 divisions on the map in an area, and so that's better, and it looks better to Hitler because, you know, starting, well, before 43, but by 43, Hitler's, you know, interfering a lot with the progress of the war. So that looks better to them. So and then often the older divisions that were thought to be being infected with defeatism just didn't have the ammunition, didn't have the anti-tank guns, didn't have the tanks or whatever it was, and also didn't have the manpower, so they were falling back. And the newer divisions showing up there may have not been because they were fully equipped and fully manned out. So what they should have been doing is, and if you start out with, say, 10,000 men in a division, and after 2 years you're down to 6,000 men in that division, and most of the men are the same guys, and all they've done is watch their friends die off, they are going to get infected with the defeatism because it's just slowly being worn away. If you're continuing to put new reinforcements into these old divisions, sure, some of your old buddies are going to die, but also some of the new guys are going to die too, and so it won't be looking like, hey, my number is going to be up one of these days, because of the random chance, and often the new guys die easiest because they're not as well experienced in combat. So it works out much better to keep reinforcing your good divisions, your existing divisions, and not just creating new ones. But it looked good on the map. It looked good in the Hitler bunker, wherever that, the different wolf slayers and whatnot, looked better. So they were constantly creating these new divisions. So that was starting well before this period, but it magnified the situation that Hitler was thinking, this is a division, it's moving here, when really it's a demi-brigade at best in manpower and equipment, and it's not even a well-trained up, coordinated unit. There may be, some really good experienced officers and NCOs and even some troops in there that are, made up of, depot troops that, had taken, cycled out of the combat for a while and were back. There are some really good guys, but they hadn't, worked with each other. They're, with different divisions, they're from different divisions or different branches of, some are in, infantry divisions and others are in armored divisions, and so they work different. And so when they're all put into this new formed unit, they're not even coordinated amongst themselves, and they don't know, and they're all thrown into battle 5 days later. If you've read about I've read mostly about some of the formations of some of these Waffen-SS divisions, but some of these other like fortress divisions, and they're just, getting up the Volkssturm types, and so that's what was all going on with all of these things that was really creating a diluted sense of what could be done. So we're going to take this Panzer Grenadier Division. Okay, I want to make sure we've renamed it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've kept most of these, or all of these, Kampfgruppe. But you'll also maybe had noticed that if they replace it with something else, because obviously we haven't even had the chance to use this unit yet, other than occupying Britain. If it's like swapping out one Hermann Göring unit for another one, I'm not doing this because I don't consider this cheating. I'm just keeping the Kampfgruppe, where the other situation, so disbanded units no longer exist according to the AI. But when we were forming, we haven't gotten them over there, like this Fallschirmpanzer Corps Hermann Göring type unit, when you're forming this, it's taking into account that the personnel is being transferred and whatnot. So I'm not, in my mind, cheating, because you could do this to these other units. If you want to, you can cheat in your game by renaming, the former units here. So if they're being removed, fine, because I know I'm getting replacement units for them, sometimes better, sometimes just bigger, meaning just more support units and whatnot, not necessarily better quality. So that's how I look at it, because that's how it's being figured in that sense. Okay, well, we can support that attack. As soon as these guys get up there, I've got to bring some support units for that. I've also got to set up over here a occupational SS Corps here to send over. It may be going more towards Latin America, I don't know for sure. But get some Einsatzkommando and Sonderkommando. These are all really bad people. Really bad people. Okay, well, we're going to end the episode here. Gotta get back to work making TRE in the next version. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Do appreciate that. Please post comments or addendum if you have more information on some of the topics that I've been discussing. I love if you guys take the time and point to Wikipedia articles or other sorts of things and expand upon what I've been saying. So see you next time.